Hello, creative, and welcome back to the Empowered Creatives podcast, finding confidence between hustle and burnout. I'm your host, Victoria Hines, creative career coach, helping creatives just like you level up or find your next path in your career. On this week's episode, I've been trying to think about what I want to talk to y'all about next. I just said y'all, a little bit of that Texan is coming out of me. This week's episode is really special to me because this was a huge eye-awakening moment for me in my own career transition process that really helped me understand and find my inner compass of when I was going the right direction in my career for me and when I was walking in the wrong direction. So if you remember back a few podcast episodes ago, I kind of shared my career transition story with all of you. So from burnout in 2018 with arts administration and acting to really exploring what was next, both in 2018 and 2019, to having a plan, having the pandemic destroy or blow up that plan. And then in 2020, taking a business course because something about being an entrepreneur really, really spoke to me. And it was through that business course that I learned the idea of beta testing. Now, beta testing is something that's very familiar to the entrepreneur world or to even the tech world, which I also operate some of my days with. But beta testing was pretty foreign to me when I heard about it as an artist. It's not something that came up in the acting world or in the arts administration world. And I was like, what is this, beta testing? Don't you just put all your resources into like one big project and boom, bring it to life? I was used to everything having to be bigger, just kind of like an all-in project. But beta testing is brilliant because you sort of get to find a way to do a small experiment with an idea that you have. And through that small experiment, you get to have some hands-on experience that's going to help you learn whether you're moving in the right direction or whether you're moving away from where you want to be going. So if you remember, I thought I wanted to go into experience design. It's still a really big passion of mine. I love talking about immersive theater. So I decided to beta test that idea. And I took a bunch of my friends. I started doing one-on-one interviews with them. And I was going to walk away from that interview and design a personalized experience just for them. This was the pandemic, so oftentimes these were experiences that they could do on their own. It was almost like a set of instructions to help them explore a certain area of their life where they were feeling stuck or not sure what to do next. I quickly realized whenever I sat down to design said experience, I just felt drained. I felt exhausted. I didn't really it felt good to accomplish something and send it out to the friend, but it didn't really light me up inside, the whole designing and producing process. And I quickly realized I don't want to create a business where I have to produce a product that's going to drain me. The piece that I loved was coaching my friends in their careers. And I quickly realized the more that you can find the activities and things that energize you and capitalize on those in your work, the easier your work is going to become. So this episode is all about why you should follow the energy. This episode is also going to be very much geared towards anybody who is going through a career transition. Maybe you love what you do, but you hate trying to make it a career. Or maybe you want to find that 9-to-5 that doesn't suck your soul out. This episode is definitely for you, and it's going to be a really big guiding compass to help you figure out the right next step in your career. Real quick, I'm going to interrupt this podcast to tell you about a really nifty tool that I've made just for you. As creatives, it's so easy to find ourselves lost in jobs that we don't really like. So much so that when we decide to find a day job or a support job that we actually enjoy, we have no idea where to start. This is where a creative career audit comes in. Head to the show notes below to grab the link to my download, and you can get your free workbook that will help you identify what brings you joy and what drains you in the world of work. No more day jobs or support jobs that make you just feel inside. It's time to find something that's going to light you up again. So, the big question of this podcast episode is why you should follow the energy. So, oftentimes as creatives, we're told, and even in high school and at a young age, we're told to do what interests us. Follow your passion, do what you like, make a career out of what you love to do. It's not that these pieces of advice are wrong. They're not wrong. In fact, if I were to go focus my career on an industry that I had no personal interest in, I'd probably get bored pretty quickly. However, passion is not the end-all be-all when it comes to work. What happens, and the piece that nobody really talks about, is that once you sort of get out of college or are no longer a kid, work becomes a service or a good that you provide in exchange for something else. Work is a process of doing, and work inherently means you are producing something for somebody else in exchange for, in our world and society, that would be money. Just because you enjoy doing something or are passionate about it does not mean that you are going to enjoy producing that thing over and over and over and over again. Sometimes the things you love are something that you just want to do for your own enjoyment. The second it is work, there are stakes involved. Where energy comes into play is energy is going to guide you toward your truest self. Now, what I love about this is our careers are going to be changing. Very few people, only about 25%, and I read the statistics, so I don't remember if it was Americans or global, but 25% of people actually end up falling into a career that is directly aligned with their college degree. So that means most of us end up weaving and going into different career paths as we go through life. The wonderful thing about energy is it's going to guide you towards what is the right next step for you in the moment. And it's good to remember that you can take that pressure off. This doesn't have to be your final destination. But energy lets you know, hey, this feels good right now in this moment. This feels like the right next step for me. The weird thing about energy is sometimes we can't put it into words. Somebody may question you or ask you, well, why do you want to go down that path? Why are you making that decision? And we feel like we have to justify. Oftentimes, we feel like we have to justify why we feel like it's the right decision for us. And sometimes we can come up with an answer. But at the end of the day, if it feels right, it's probably right for you. And there's no justification necessary. So if you remember, if you can fill your working hours with activities that energize you, even if it's a 9-to-5 job or day job that pays the bills, you are at the end of the day going to have more energy left over to do what you love. So, here's my one thing for you today. Where's a place that you love? I want you to really picture that place. Everything you can see, feel, hear, smell. What memories do you remember about that place? And actually go ahead and close your eyes and put yourself back in that area, that place that you love. Now I want you to think of who's someone you always enjoy spending time with. No matter what, you love spending time with this person. Now, the third piece, What's an activity you love to do and you lose track of time while doing it? Now, I want you to put all of these pieces together. I want you to imagine that you're in this place. Really see it, feel it, hear it. Take in the landscape around you. Now I want you to imagine that that person you enjoy spending time with is standing or sitting right next to you. They're there in this space with you. And now I want you to take it a step further and you're doing the activity that you love with this other person you love spending time with. And what do you feel in your body? What physical sensations do you feel inside at this moment when you put yourself into this situation? Now go ahead and open your eyes and I want you to write this down. What did that feel like? Describe it in as much detail as possible. Where did you feel that feeling? What did it feel like? However you describe it, that's the feeling that you want to find in your work. And when you find activities that recreate or open up that feeling inside of you, that's a sign that you should keep doing more of that. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast this week. Don't forget, if you're loving the show, subscribe, rate, review. It's the best and freest way that you can show some love for this podcast. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday because I have a super amazing guest episode coming your way. And until next week, stay creative.